Everybody good?
Yep.
Now you know how Santa uses these flying reindeer to pull his sleigh. You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen and Comet, Cupid, and Donner and Blitzen.
We have a whole ballet going on backstage where everybody is very precisely moving around each other, and we make as John Ludwig calls it, we always make our deals where we say, I need a little more room for my knees here, can you move back a little and I'll give you a little more room for your elbow.
We call the most famous reindeer of all.
This show for me is a particularly challenging one because I'm talking almost constantly, because not only am I a bunch of characters in the show, but I'm also the narrator, Sam the Snowman, and so every time we move the scenery, I'm still blathering right on through it. And a lot of times we're singing or talking as we're ducking under things, or we're all crunched up physically, and so it is challenging to make it sound like we're speaking and singing normally when our diaphragms are smushed, you know, so horribly. But you kind of get used to it. There are a lot of weird techniques you can use. You learn to control your breathing a lot, lean in a lot of strange directions. There's a lot of twisting and turning when you're a puppeteer. Sometimes it's a bit of a shock for audiences when we show up at the end of the show and we're humans and they go, because they almost forgot that we were back here. They've just accepted at that point that the puppets are moving around on their own. And it's amazing how willing people are to suspend their disbelief for any kind of puppet. I mean, it can be super simple. People just love to believe that this strange object has a life of its own.
We'll call him Rudolph.
Rudolph is a lovely name. Rudolph.
Hey, he knows his name already.
Papa, Mama.
This is a great story because it's all about feeling like you're singled out and that you don't belong. And I don't think there's anybody who has never felt that emotion, you know. And we see this whole journey of this character where everybody he knows thinks he's practically worthless to everybody thinking he's a hero. And every character that you see has some sense of not being quite what we expect. For example, when Santa first appears, he's not the fat, jolly Santa we were expecting. He's skinny and he's crabby and he's having an argument with his wife over what he should eat. And a lot of characters like that. You know, we have an elf that doesn't want to make toys. So that's pretty unexpected. And so I think the story has endured this long because people love the feeling of seeing the misfits succeed. Because then all of us misfits succeed, you know?
Every year I shine up my jingle bells for 8 lucky reindeer.
We've tried very hard to emulate the show as closely as possible, given the fact that this is live theater and that is not. But all of the character designs were, you know, painstakingly, you know, Jason would sit watching the show frame by frame, making drawings, doing computer animations, trying to get everything just right. He'd have to go through just to see the shape of an ear. Because of course, when you're looking at those on the TV screen, they're not always, you're not watching them in 3 dimensions, and so he had to come up with how big is that thing, and how big is it relative to every other thing. And so every character design went back to Character Arts. That's the company that controls Rudolph. And they had to approve every single thing. The script, there was no official script. What they sent us were some old typewritten pages from the 60s. And John Ludwig, our artistic director, went through and very carefully constructed a script that would make sense on stage for this show. And then we try to emulate the voices as closely as possible, knowing that with theater there are going to be some different demands on what a character does to keep it exciting.
Yeah, with dirt. Yeah. Come here, boy.